A young married couple was waiting at this streetcar stop when someone came up and hit the man in the throat with a hatchet.
Alabama family will be spending this Christmas season without a husband and father.
Kristen was sitting right next to Jacob when he was attacked.
On April 5th, 2025, around 10 a.m., a man randomly tries to decapitate another person on the streets while dozens stood watching. Next to this man, his helpless wife, who could only watch her husband get murdered. This couple was 32-year-old Jacob Couch and his wife, Kristen Couch. The confused man had a hatchet and, without explaining his reasoning to select his victim, starts beheading Jacob Couch out in the open, right in front of his wife.
Your perspective on fentanyl, how does that make you feel? Like, did you kind of have a... I know
it makes me sad,
yeah,
because I see a lot of people dying from it, and no offense, but none of you guys are really doing much about it. You just let it slide, and
I hear you.
Everybody's just out here doing it in front of everybody. So it's like,
does that piss you off?
I usually just stay away from this area.
With the help of victim accounts, statements, testimonies, and CCTV, the suspect was identified as Daniel Michael. He was caught within 3 days and brought in for questioning. Only one question left. Was this truly random, or was it planned? April 5th, 2025. The intersection of 6th Avenue and Broadway Boulevard in Tucson is a busy, well-lit area surrounded by businesses, traffic, and constant movement. It's not isolated, it's not hidden. It's the last place you would expect a violent, unprovoked attack to happen. But for someone else, it became an opportunity. That evening, Jacob Couch and his wife were seated at a bus stop bench along the sidewalk. At some point, a man approached from behind. Witness accounts and surveillance footage later confirmed that there was no confrontation leading up to the attack. The accused just started hurling abuses, and then Jacob asked him to back off. The perp would drive into madness and do the unthinkable.
A man approached them while they were sitting at a bus stop on 6th and Broadway, which is less than 2 miles from the University of Arizona. It's less than 1 mile from the main police headquarters, and yelled at them and told them to get up. My brother responded something along the lines of, "Hey man, we're not hurting anybody, just, mind your own business, please." And his wife could tell the man was agitated, so she said, "Look, we're leaving. We're just going to get our stuff and we're going to go." So my brother bent down to gather their things. The man came up behind him, swung. This is what eyewitnesses have reported, that he swung a hatchet over his head and struck my brother in the back/side of the neck with a hatchet.
The man closed the distance, raised the hatchet, and struck. The blade connected with the back of Jacob's neck and head with significant force. The impact was immediate, and Jacob collapsed where he sat. It happened so quickly that he didn't even try to defend himself. And content with his horror, the perp walks away, calmly, like nothing happened. And what happened in the seconds immediately after would become one of the most unsettling details of the entire case. Emergency services were called within moments. When paramedics arrived, Jacob was still alive, but barely. The injury was catastrophic. Severe blunt force trauma to the head and neck, massive blood loss. He was transported to University Medical Center Tucson under critical condition. Doctors immediately placed him on life support. Machines took over the functions his body could no longer maintain on its own. His wife, who had witnessed the entire attack, remained in shock.
To know this man may someday walk free is just terrifying. I just really think about facing this man and like him seeing me and all of Jake's family, and like hearing, he didn't know us. We were strangers. Like, I want him to know who Jake was and that know that Jake was a good man and better than him.
Family members were notified, and within hours, they began arriving at the hospital. But while doctors fought to keep Jacob alive, investigators were trying to reconstruct something that didn't make sense. There was no robbery. Jacob's belongings were still with him. There was no evidence of a dispute or indication that the two people knew each other prior to the attack. No indication that the attacker and victim had any prior interaction. The attack had lasted seconds, which left investigators with a critical question. Why Jacob? The randomness of the act immediately stood out. Most violent crimes follow some kind of pattern, but here there was none. At least, not one that was immediately visible. Investigators turned to the city's surveillance system. Downtown Tucson is covered in cameras. Traffic cams, business security systems, street-facing surveillance, and somewhere in that network, the attack had been captured. The footage showed the suspect approaching. His movements were steady, controlled, the usual calm he had while attacking Jacob. There was no hesitation in his body language, no wandering, no confusion. He walked directly toward Jacob as if he had already made a decision. And that detail would become critical later, because it suggested something investigators weren't ready to confirm yet. The suspect raised the hatchet, struck, and then walked away. The entire incident lasted only seconds. Using surveillance from multiple angles, investigators tracked the suspect's movements through the city. Camera by camera, block by block, he didn't attempt to conceal himself. He didn't flee the area in panic. Instead, he moved through public spaces in a way that made him easier to follow. That decision ultimately led to his identification. But identifying him didn't answer the most important question. It only made it more complicated.
Daniel, what do you think this is about?
All the misdemeanor warrants I have.
Well, and I guess you've got some warrants, but it's not about warrants, okay? What do you think that this would be about?
My brother.
Your brother?
Yeah, because police said they'd be in contact with me later on about that too.
Well, okay. Were you arrested with something to do with your brother?
No, he died in my house.
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know.
You're right.
How old was your brother?
He was 27.
27? Sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss.
What was his name?
Angel.
Angel? Did he overdose?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I think I knew about that.
Yeah. He had a heart attack. Wasn't technically an overdose. He just died there. I found him, and police were not helpful at all. They were just disrespectful to the body.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is not about that incident, but I don't know if what it is we're wanting to talk to you about may have anything to do with that incident, kind of your headspace and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
This is about what happened over the weekend, okay?
Do you know what we're talking about now?
Honestly, I've been drunk all weekend, so I really can't say.
Getting drunk is almost the go-to response for killers who don't remember their crimes, but Michael is an intimidating-looking guy about 6 foot onwards in height. The attitude of the detective reflects either they are intimidated by him, or this is the beginning of some good cop, bad cop ruse. But will they be able to get a full confession?
So, the reason why we're asking about this weekend is there was an incident that happened downtown, and I'm sure you're aware there's lots of cameras here and there and everywhere, and it looks like you were downtown during this incident. So I know you said you're drunk, but does it ring a bell that you were downtown briefly for a little bit? No?
No.
Clearly, when asked politely, Daniel is not willing to give up information. But a lot changes when the detectives stop asking so politely.
You were seen on a number of them, and it was on Saturday. It can show things that are happening. before, during, and after an incident. It can show where people go after an incident and what they do. But I mean, one thing video doesn't show is what's going on in your head, right? That's not something video can tell us.
And if that wasn't enough,
You seem like a guy that likes fashion, kind of stylish type of thing. I mean, can I show you a picture and you can tell me who that handsome devil is in that picture? Who's that guy?
That looks like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
How about that handsome guy? With those would look some cool glasses. Are those Oakleys or what are those called? I
don't know.
you know. But that's you, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Leather jacket.
Yeah.
What kind of shirt is that? Button down or is that a zip down? I can't tell. It looks like button, right?
Yeah.
Is that like lined with white down the middle there?
That's what I wore to the club that night.
The club that night?
What club?
Not club, the bar.
Oh, okay. Friday night.
Okay. That you're holding here.
That's like a water bottle.
Yeah. Is that your water bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah. That look like your water bottle?
Yeah.
Do you remember carrying it that day?
No, I usually, that's been dirty for the longest time now. I usually carry that thing around.
Okay. So like we were saying, there's quite a bit of cameras all through downtown. So like, there's some more of you in that business. There's you walking down the 4th Avenue tunnel. There's you with the tattoos on your hand, right? There's you with those pretty stylish glasses. Here's you, looks like, on the Suntrans. See, there's, like we talked about the tattoos.
Yeah.
See? That's the Sunlink. There's some more of you on the Sunlink. You know where this is? I know it's kind of a weird fisheye, just the way the security camera is. No. So that's you going to a restroom. Remember going to a restroom? You went into some business on Congress. Do you remember that? No? That one earlier I showed you where I asked you who that handsome guy was? That's the same business. You walked through. You remember doing that? You had to go to the bathroom? No? Okay. Is that you? Walking with your water bottle?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know where you were going? Do you know where that's at?
No.
There's another one with you walking. And this is all between like 10 a.m.
the detective presents proof after proof, and Daniel still denies any memory of the incident until the detective pieces together the parts.
Are you piecing this together now while we're asking about being downtown and knives and talking to a guy or getting into it? What do you think we're trying to get at here? You're not a dumb guy.
Trying to say that I assaulted somebody.
And some memories start coming back to him.
Well, we're not trying to say it happened, but we're kind of beyond the, like, we're trying to get, and this is your opportunity to tell us your side of the story. So if there's something that occurred between you and somebody else and you felt like there was a necessity for you to take action to pull your weapon out or use your weapon or swing your
I don't ever attack anybody out of
well, that's what I'm saying though.
They have to try to attack me first.
Okay, so did something like that happen this weekend? Did you feel like you were possibly in harm's way and that you had to take action to defend yourself? Like, you got to give me something here, because
I would never attack anybody out of just sheer spite. I would have to, like.
Okay, so here's the deal. We're at the point where I'm not going to BS you here. There was a confrontation between you and another person. Okay, something happened. That person got hurt. Okay, he's still alive. So if that's weighing heavy on your mind, you don't need to worry about that. He's still alive as we speak. And then, but we're kind of beyond the, like, I forgot, or maybe I drank too much. It happened. we clearly tracked you. We're still getting more video, so we know you, the whole path you took. We saw you go into a bathroom. We saw you come out. We found this. Do you think when we're done at the crime lab, your DNA is going to come back on this, and your fingerprints?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mine.
Yeah, it's yours. So there's no doubt that you were downtown, and that you were carrying this. And witnesses said the guy wearing that black jacket with that water bottle got into it with another guy at that bus stop right there, right? So we're beyond whether that happened or not. That happened, okay? But what,
I'm
like,
telling you, I don't remember any of that.
okay, but
And
see,
if
I don't know if
I'm cooperating.
Not remembering was simply not an option.
I know you remember what happened because it is a memorable event, and it's not going away. It's not leaving your head. It's not something you can unsee. You're a good person. I don't know you. We've been in a room together for a short amount of time.
Finally reaching the moment where Daniel started seeing things clearly.
Because I'm getting glimpses like walking past Johnny Gibson's and there being shadows. But I do remember passing two parents, a mom and her baby, and a dad and his baby.
yes,
And
because
I kept walking, and like I said, that smell.
Okay.
That smell.
Yeah, that like burning plastic, burning tire smell.
Yeah, that's what I smell.
Okay.
And I told him to knock it off and go somewhere else.
You told who to knock it off?
I think the people who were smoking there. I couldn't see them because they had a blanket over their head.
Okay. All right. And then what happened?
He started threatening me.
What did he say?
I couldn't really tell. I had my headphones in.
Okay. Well, what was he doing?
Reaching for something in his pocket.
Okay. So what'd you do?
I reached for mine.
For your what?
I guess I had my axe on me that day.
Okay. So what happened?
I got him first.
What hand did you pull the axe from? Or with?
I would only use my right hand.
Well, no, I don't want to talk about woods or because this is important. What we want to hear is the truth as you remember it, not what could have happened, what would have happened. Where do you remember having your axe with you that day?
No.
well, you said you pulled it, right?
Yeah, but until right now.
Okay, well, and so
He started like showing me different things,
Yeah.
and I started putting shit together.
So let me say this, and I want to make sure that we're totally clear. Initially, and I'm going to kind of paraphrase what I think you're saying back. Don't let me put words in your mouth. Don't let him put words in your mouth. What we want you to do is we want to hear the truth from you, okay? So if I get something wrong, correct me, all right? But what I think you're saying is that initially when we sat down to talk, you didn't remember what it was that had happened that day downtown.
Yeah.
After we talked about it a little bit, and you've looked through some of these pictures, and you've looked at this drawing of downtown, you have now been able to remember
Yeah, because
portions of what happened.
I
Is
was
that
walking this way, two babies are behind me,
okay? Because you're on there.
and when I stopped right here, I
Yeah.
smelt it.
Okay,
I crossed over because I was gonna catch the trolley.
okay.
I don't know where I was going, but I stopped right here, and then I saw them right there. And I told them to stop and to leave, or go do that in the alleyway or in the desert somewhere else where nobody is.
Okay.
And then they got up and started yelling at me and threatening me.
And what were they saying? You said you had your headphones in?
And I told him I didn't care what he was like saying. Like,
Okay.
What kind of things was he saying, though?
like
And you say they. How many were there?
I don't know what he was. Like, I don't know if it was a man or female. I was yelling at somebody,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and I remember telling them to grab all their stuff and leave. Now that you mention it, yeah.
No, and you say stuff. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
They just had like a bunch of like bags.
Okay.
I don't know if they just got into town or if they're homeless drifting or not.
And
But
when you say bags, like grocery bags, sleeping bags?
like duffel bags.
Okay. And so you tell them, just basically gather your stuff and leave, and
Yeah.
then what happened after that?
Like, he started like reaching into his pants and his pockets.
Like front pockets?
Yeah, and I was telling, I was telling him just to leave and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm out of reaction to what he was doing.
Okay. Did he say anything while he was reaching?
Yeah, he said, I got something for you.
Okay. Was he white, black, Hispanic?
Honestly, couldn't tell. His hands were all dirty. His face was dirty.
Okay.
I think he might have been Caucasian.
Okay.
White.
So he starts reaching in his pockets, you say, and both hands, one hand?
I think it was one.
One hand? Do you remember which hand? No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And when you say he reached in, so he just stuck his hand in his pocket, and he said what?
He said, I got something for you.
Okay. And did he pull his hand out?
I think he was about to, but I got him first.
Okay. And when you say you got him with, you said earlier, what was
I'm pretty sure the axe.
You were pretty sure?
Yeah.
What else would it be?
He didn't have anything else on me.
Where did you carry the axe? On you?
In my jacket.
In the leather jacket?
Do you have like a pocket in there, or was it?
No, I just kept it on my shoulder.
Did it have like a strap or something?
Mm-hmm, just hangs there.
Well, how does it hang? I'm confused. How does an axe hang from your shoulder if it doesn't have a strap?
The head sits right here.
Oh, you had it in your sleeve?
In the sleeve?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you reached in, pulled it out of your sleeve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so like the head's in your sleeve and then the handle's like down along your body? Okay.
Yeah.
What side, right or left?
My left.
Your left. And then you grab it with your right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, like a cross draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I assume, because we have video of you walking off with it, you had your water bottle in your other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, where'd you hit him with the axe?
Pretty sure in his neck.
You know what side?
Well, he's facing me. I had him my right hand.
So if
I'm
I'm
on his left.
his left side of his neck?
Okay. So like I'm facing you like this side of my neck?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the left side of my neck. Okay.
Is there a reason, did you aim for the neck, or was it like, why the neck?
I was always taught to go for the head.
Who taught you that?
My uncle.
Oh, okay.
With an axe?
Any weapon.
Fair enough.
A rock could be a weapon.
Right.
That pen could be a weapon. His glasses could be a weapon.
Right.
Fist could be weapons, right?
Yeah.
Why do you go for the head?
I know your uncle told you, but what's the logic behind it?
And finally, the cat was out of the bag. Daniel finally remembers attacking Jacob. Detectives have said what they need to seal their case and give justice to the family. But what was unsettling and a bigger mystery still was the motive. Why kill a man at random? Daniel had some things to say.
Oh, it's to incapacitate the enemy.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what he taught me.
Okay.
So you were trying to incapacitate him?
Well, I'm not trying to hurt nobody, and I'm not trying to get hurt myself.
Okay. Do you sharpen your axe? Do you keep it sharp?
No.
Okay. Is it normally sharp?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bought it.
And with that weird explanation came an end to a horrific incident. It turned even more morbid when Jacob, who was just miles away, struggling to earn every minute of his life, finally gave up. While detectives worked the case, Jacob remained in the hospital, on life support, unresponsive. Days passed, then more days. His condition did not improve. Complications began to develop, including pneumonia, a common but dangerous development in prolonged critical care. His body was no longer able to recover. Surrounded by family, Jacob Couch passed away. And with that, the case changed permanently. What began as an assault investigation became a homicide case. Prosecutors upgraded the charges. Daniel Michael now faced murder. The focus shifted from identifying the suspect to proving intent. Pima County inmate records reviewed by People show that Daniel is in custody and being held on a $2 million cash bond. Daniel was initially charged with aggravated assault with a dangerous instrument and causing serious physical injury. His charges have been amended to first-degree murder, the police have said.